Welcome, beautiful ignited souls. I am Crime Queen, your partner in crime. Now, I'm going to use the word identity tonight. I'm going to speak on self identity. What is self identity? What does that mean to you? And of course, now you may notice, as your partner in crime, of course, that I have shifted because I'm doing a bit of a snake thing, you could say. I have done a lot of videos to show that the caduceus, which is the symbol for medicine, is really part of who you are. And so I have now embraced, when they say, oh, you a snake, you a snitch, you get all these names or all these words. But in actual fact, which is something that could be said of me because I broke the law of silence and I spoke of the sexual trauma and sexual abuse that I had gone through. But of course, I was very wise, I could say, to have taken an approach with an intention to get solution for my healing. Not just talk it out, speak it out in open air, and whoever wanted to make fun of me or whatever it is, but I've been through that. Okay, so I want to speak of self identity in the context of one who has endured or one who has experienced sexual trauma. How do you see yourself? Or what perception have you got of yourself? What is the one word that you could describe yourself as? And for me, I like to say determination. I call determination my middle word. This is what I used in my 2 volumes of The Crimson Light. I saw myself as determination. One word. And of course, you could take any one word any day just to find a way of describing yourself where you're at right now. So, breaking the law of silence, I am going to touch on some things. As I say, I am really taking on the role of the caduceus. The caduceus is the symbol you'll find on your chemist or pharmacist or something like that. That's the 2 serpents. They come together and it's the togetherness that symbolizes that healing or that tablet you are going to take. The tablet, as in the scriptures with Moses, he had 2 tablets. So those 2, or you have 2 sons, Isaac and Jacob, or Esau and, the 2 sons, they could be like Cain and Abel. It's always those 2. You also found like Ishmael was birthed first, and then Isaac came, so there was friction. So you could see all these 2 elements. What I am learning now even more is that it's just like electricity. When you want to switch on that light bulb, it constitutes both positive and negative lines or wires or elements, and there's the neutral, which is called the earth. Okay, so that's a little I know about electricity. Okay, so and whatever you do with that electricity, of course, whether you want to light a room, whether you want to shock something or whatever it is, that is entirely up to you. And that's what the caduceus is about. That's what the 14 gods of the scriptures, verbatim gods that I have been speaking on. And if you are new to this, please check out anything that is on for instance, numerology and spirituality for beginners. Now, I may not have the right term here, how it goes, but by Crime Queen. If not, you can check on other sites. But I am speaking specifically about the 14 verbatim gods, which you will not get anywhere else. I haven't seen anywhere else on YouTube talking about the 14 verbatim gods, which I have discovered in the Bible. And they represent the 2 creation. So let's not go too far into this, but these two creation, of course, are representations of your left, your right, the good, the bad, the son, the good son, the Isaac, the Jacob, all the opposites that we can have that come together to shed light on something. This is what you are going to need to do to gain your sense of self identity, your experience, which has been the negative, if you like, and of course, how you're going to find the positive to bring these two together and to find your healing. This is why we have been divinely blessed, we say, with the gift which is specific for people who have been sexually traumatized, called the Revolutionary Spiritual Healing Code. Now, that also comes as TRSHC. And I want to just point your direction. I found this feather a couple days ago. I love it when I get a feather, it's just really good. But before I move on, let me welcome you to this beautiful journey, this journey where we are delving into the fifth dimension. Now, for us to do that, and many are being called nowadays and not knowing exactly where to go, what to do, what or how to begin, but this is what this channel is about, is that we are on this us ship. I call it like a us ship, meaning united souls or ignited souls, which is whatever is. This is what we are doing right here. So it's like a relationship, but it is the us ship. So you and I are really joined together. We are acknowledging that we are joined together, and this is the us ship. So here we have TRSHC, which of course I have done the numerical value, which comes to 23. Adding this together comes to 23. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now, I am really bringing your attention to the importance of numbers for this sort of healing that we are doing with TRSHC, because we have taken it for granted that numbers play a very big part or role in our lives. We do not, or we have not, for many of us, taken the time to even find out what is my life path number, what is my soul urge number. Okay, and so I was born on the 10th of the month, or the 15th of the month, or the 8th of the month. What does that mean, and how does that play out in my life? When you begin to think about those numbers and how they play out in your life, you will begin to see the patterns, which is really like your pathway or your roadmap that opens up before you for the purpose of your self identity, and that means who and what you are becoming. So this is what we are talking about. We may have to do several videos, but I'm hoping that I can begin to get your focus on who you are meant to be. What can you do to be there? How can you acknowledge your sense of self, your strength, take back your power, take back your self identity that had been stolen? Now, I say stolen for people who have been sexually abused, sexually traumatized, sexually molested, and believe you me, I have gone through all of the above and even beyond. So I am not speaking from one who has not known, or just because, well, I was just touched once and now, no. I had lived a life into my adulthood through trauma of being sexually molested, abused, raped, and all the rest of it. And so I have also known what it is like to live with shame, live with blame, live with guilt, live with pain, and all those ugly tags that accompanies sexual trauma. So I am speaking through experience, which led me on to writing, well, I haven't got my book right now, but 2 volumes of The Crimson Light, because I thought I'm going to write one book, and because I want to understand those patterns that are just shooting up to the surface. And that began in 2011, when a lot of people had their awakening was happening then. And 2012, there I was, what's happening? I've got to move, I've got to do something, I've got to find out what it is, and how is the law of attraction, in my life, what it is that am I doing that is causing all these patterns. It's as if I had a stamp on my forehead saying, rape me, molest me, do this, do that. And I thought, I literally went to the mirror and to check out, well, what is it that someone could see and that I am attracting that pattern. So, when we speak of self identity, there are things that happen in our life and if they leave a certain imprint. Now, here's the thing that really resonated. The lovely author Emmett Fox said something like this, I'm paraphrasing: nothing comes into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. I had read this thing several times, but then this is when the penny dropped one day, and I thought, nothing, and I read it again, nothing comes into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which it can attach itself onto. I thought, wow, there I was with this rude awakening. There must be something in my consciousness that was attracting something like whatever I was experiencing onto myself. And whether it was my perception of the experiences, whether it was the experiences itself. Now, bear in mind, for people like myself and perhaps you who have been molested like from a child, of course, you were not conscious of that. So there is a big question mark. How would I have attracted such a thing into my life? This is for another presentation because I know the answer is not going to sit well with a lot of us who have not begun to heal. So I'm not going to touch this right now. But to get a sense of self-identity, and I am going to make reference onto that which you are. According to the scriptures, you are the Word. You were in the beginning of whatever time, whatever creation, whatever thing that you were. Now, I make reference to the scriptures because there is a lot of truth that we have not uncovered through that which we are through the scriptures. I make those references. I make those I recite whatever verse, whatever it is, because it's about understanding what the word is. Instead, to understand who you are a construct of codes. So if you look at biology, for instance, you are a construct of, maybe you see the genes, or the neurons, or your chromosomes, 23 pairs or whatever chromosomes. You have 2 eyes, you have 2 noses. Everything is numbered. Hence, when there is a tablet or a medication or something, we buy nothing without numbers nowadays. Nothing is given or served without a number. I go and buy candles, and nowadays, or it's not just lavender or rosemary. It's got number 1, number 7, number 14, number 15, whatever it is, because the people who are providing this service have a great understanding that there is an awakening that is constructed, or the awakening of the numerical vibration. And so they are quickly giving you that numerical vibration for you to interact with, to engage with. So to, of course, whether you accept it or not, perhaps the number 14, as with the 14 gods, which is number 5, of course 1 plus 4 is 5, that comes up to like Christ, because Christ equals 5. Or Mother Eve, as in the garden, which we learn of, or Eve, Adam, Eve equals also 14, which is 5. Or life equals 23, which is 5. So they will find all kinds of ways to serve you of yourself, that which you are. So you can only identify with what you are. If you find you keep going for number 6, you need to be asking yourself, what does 6 mean to me? Where am I in the 6? Find your sense of self-identity in that. Just ask the question. Now, but going back to the healing that we are talking about, when you understand who you are, because we are the construct of numbers and letters, that's the language that we were given. This is how we communicate. And because for time, I will not prolong this presentation much more, but I want you to understand that you are the construct of words, and I will be doing much more videos on to try to get people to understand that, apart from being your partner in crime, we are here as numbers. For instance, if 2 people were together, then there's someone says, how many people were there? 2. All of those things are vibrational. And of course, vibration has a lot to do with rhythm, a lot to do with frequency. We are talking about creative being that you are. To understand that you are a creative being in a creative world, your purpose is to create. How are you going to go about that? You need to know who you are. Hence, all in Egypt, we learn that when you go on to the pyramids or whatever it is, you see, know thyself. How do you begin to know thyself? You need to begin to ask questions. Who are you going to ask questions? Ask yourself, because the answer lies with you. Hence, the big preacher or Savior or whoever you want to term him as, Jesus Christ would say, the truth is within you. Within you. Meaning you have, this is what people, the language we have is so sweet and cleverly done. Let's look at this and to show you. The answer is within you. You are, this is why I love numerology, because numerology shows us things that we had not seen before. So you, this is 7, 6, 3. Adding this together, you are 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. And it's perhaps no wonder why the age of for having intercourse or consensual intercourse in England, you could say is it is 16. So 16, you can be, give your consent for having intercourse, being or whatever it is, and this is 7, meaning that 7 is the 6 days of creation and the 7th day and the 7th day of rest. So the rest day is 7. That makes it 7. So we are talking about a week, 1 week. Okay. Now, this is why we are talking about it is good to know numerology. This is 1 week. This is why I was talking about the caduceus creation. There were 2 creations. This is why we have been given 2 weeks for quarantine. 14 days, people. 14 days is like saying they. 14 they. So this is all happening like this. 14 days there were creation, and well, the hence it is said the number of man is six. So then the number of man is six. Also, you have the day of rest. We have 12 tribes of Israel. So you could say that there was a tribe for each day of the week, including Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is, 6 days, and then you have the rest day. That's how cleverly that the scriptures is written. It does not show you about there were six little people who were created then. There was, by the time it became the tribes of Israel, that was a truth that came into its formation, or in explicit way. So I won't go too much into this, but it's to find out who you are. Begin to ask yourself, who am I? Why am I here? You hear it all the time. Begin to take pen and paper. You can begin to say, oh, I am a female or male, or however you begin to see this. We're talking about self-identity. And while you were writing, because there is a powerful thing happening in your writing, in the motion of moving the pen and your hand. This is vibration, this is rhythm, this is frequency happening here. You are then learning how to create and how to find yourself. So, for someone who has been sexually abused and sexually molested, or whatever it is, hair is something that is very important to begin to know thyself. Do join me again when we talk more on, of course, TRSHC, which also is like the apple. Hence, you will know that the apple 2 plus 3 is 5, which also is the reverse for Christ. This is what it's about, the getting into the Christ spirit within you. Imagine this was in a mirror. What would you see? 2, 3, and 3, 2. Life, which is who we are. So it's time to do life. Okay. So thank you, lovely people. I hope you have enjoyed this. Leave your comments, like and subscribe, and share, and stay ignited.